With the Hasbro Pulse FanFest 2021 just wrapping up, I thought I'd give my thoughts on their latest reveals for the Marvel Legends line. Let's get right to it. First up, from the Infinity Saga, we have Thor with both hammers, Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. Uh, it feels like this thing is a little too late. The hype is over for Endgame, and honestly, I'm not interested in getting this because what I want is the new Guardians of the Galaxy 3 Thor. That's what I'm looking for. The one that's closer to how he looked like as Thunderstrike. I think this is great if you're trying to complete your endgame lineup, but I don't think it's a must-have right now. And given the fact that in a couple of years we'll have Guardians 3, maybe not the best investment at the moment. So this might be a pass for me. The figure looks great. The details rival that of SHF and Mafex. Those two other import figures might have better articulation, but this one I think is a great stand-in. It's a great representation of Odin Thor. Wow, look at that. Both hammers. Yeah, this is a scene like my buddy Luis. I think he wants to do this scene too. If he gets this figure, he's probably gonna have his eyes on and his radar for this figure. I hope he gets it because he's gonna complete his endgame lineup. And then we have the Ursa Major Build-A-Figure wave. Mostly Iron Man figures. I'm a big Iron Man fan, I'll give you that, but I'm a little underwhelmed with this wave. I'm not particularly interested in a lot of the figures. I do want a couple of figures from this wave. Starting with the Modular Armor Iron Man. I think this one looks great. If you read up the comic books, you watch the cartoons, you're going to love this figure. If you're a big fan of the 90s and early 2000s Iron Man, you're going to want to have this figure. I think it's a better version. We've seen another version of this armor years ago released by Hasbro, but I think this one is the best one yet. I mean, it still has, I think those are swivel hinges for that repulsor hands. I don't think there's a wrist there. I mean, it sucks, but yeah, it is what it is. I mean, for Iron Man fans, you have to get this. I think the figure looks good, just not sure I need it. The Guardsman, probably a pass for me. I mean, I've done my share of collecting Iron Man figures for the 3.75-inch scale. You've seen my collection. You've seen my reviews on FX Friends. I think I'm past this as my point in collecting Marvel figures. And I'm kind of happy with not completing every single armor or every single, Iron Man villain out there. So I think this is a pass for me. Next up, we have the Stealth Armor Classic Iron Man Stealth Armor. This is obviously a redeco, a repaint of the 80 years, the Marvel 80 years Iron Man with the same Tony Stark head. I'm a sucker for Stealth Armor. I might just go ahead and get this one. I don't know. I don't think I need it, but the figure just looks great. It's been photoshopped, I know, but if the figure turns out to be that shiny, I don't think I'll be able to resist getting one. I love the 80 years Iron Man. I still have it to this point. I sold it off and then repurchased it. I might just get this one. So Modular Armor and the Stealth Iron Man, maybe. It's a very strong possibility. Very, very strong possibility I'm going to get these two figures. Hologram, nope. Nope, not even discussing it. Nope, I'm done with collecting all the armors. Nope, no way. Ultron, he's not exactly my favorite Marvel villain. I have no emotional investment in the character. The figure looks great. It's a nice classic homage to the Avenger villain. He's like a 6-inch scaled version of the Marvel Universe Ultron. And kudos to Hasbro for giving the fan service and giving us a classic villains. But definitely, I don't think it's for me. Definitely not for me. I don't think I'll be getting this one. Sorry. Riri Williams. I did read up on the comic books. I read up on her when she had her stint as Iron Man when Tony was dying or dead and then got recloned and whatever. It was a nice story. It was a nice arc. I'm a fan of the character. I do hope she makes her debut, a great debut in the MCU. But the comic version figure, it's okay. A little underwhelming to a certain extent, but I think it does what it needs to do. I think it's a great representation of Riri Williams as Ironheart. if you're collecting the Champions or the Young Avengers or any form of Avengers and Champions shelf for the Marvel Legends, this is an absolute must-have. That head sculpt is absolutely fantastic. We're getting a masked and unmasked version of Riri Williams. I might just go ahead and pick this one up as well. We'll see. But I was kind of hoping we'd get a better version of Endgame Rescue or a better version of Comic Series Rescue. But I think it's about time we had Riri Williams. I think this figure is late. I think we should have gotten this 2 years ago, maybe at least in 2019 or early 2020. But yeah, it is what it is. And I'm still grateful we're getting updated comic characters. And I think I might just get this together with that stealth armor and modular armor. Dark Star, nope. I am not a fan of the Russian Avengers. No. Ursa Major, even the Build-A-Figure, I think it's great. This looks fantastic, but I don't think it's for me. On to some other reveals. I don't know if this was actually discussed in Hasbro Pulse. I must have missed it. This is an homage to originally released Domino and Cannonball 2-pack. The old Marvel Legends were just starting out with Hasbro. And at the same time, it is absolutely fantastic fan service, giving us the 90s version of Domino and 90s version of X-Force Cannonball. This is an amazing 2-pack. If you're a big fan of the 90s X-Force, you have got to pick this one up. This is the best version of these characters to date. I think Hasbro has acknowledged that they made a mistake with that half man, half bolt Cannonball figure. I mean, that was a great effect, but they should have included the legs. I mean, it was lazy for them not to include the legs. It was an easy repaint. I don't know why they were scrimping on that figure. They should have done this in the first place together with that blast effect. That would have made an awesome Cannonball figure. But Hasbro, they want to milk fans' money. They want to bamboozle us into buying the figure over and over, characters over and over, and this is how they do it. So sometimes if you missed out on an early release of a figure, fear not, because Hasbro is always going to make their older figures obsolete and come up with better looking figures year in, year out. So yeah, you missed the Domino, you missed the 2 versions of Domino. Who cares, right? Because you're going to get a better version. Definitely. So yeah, I'm actually tempted to get this because my focus now on Marvel Legends is really the mutants, the Krakoans. And I might just get this. I don't know. I'm drawn to this set. And then we have other, I'm guessing these are exclusives like Walgreens or Target or Walmart or whatever. Some other, I mean, Hasbro keeps doing this, right? So you got to expect that. I don't know if they're going to change doing that, but we're going to get a 90s or 80s Nova, Richard Rider Nova. I have no investment in this character. I never read up in the comic books. I think he's a cool character. For a lot of the fans of the character, they're going to want this. It's great. I think it's well done. The paint apps looks absolutely amazing. I like this Nova actually better, but between the two, yeah, he's looking pretty good. I don't know. We'll see, but not on my list right now. I don't think. No, I'm probably skipping this one. Next is Quasar, another figure, cosmic in the cosmic Marvel universe that I'm probably not into. I'm probably not going to get this one. Yeah, no emotional investment on this figure. I think he looks great. Look at that design on the cape. It's so comic book accurate. The head sculpt looks great. Oh, wow. The Eye of Agamotto. You can have it on a stand or as a necklace. And the Eye of Agamotto, I think one of those things that you want to get if you are a big fan of props from the movie, from the MCU, like the Tesseract or maybe the proof that Tony Stark has a heart type of arc reactor. I mean, I think it's great. It's just for display or cosplay purposes, but it's something I'm not interested in. I don't think I'll be getting this one. And finally, we got teased with the Marvel Legends series plus HasLab, and you can clearly see the clever stylized plus sign right there depicting Thor, and it could possibly, it's saying that, it's teasing that it is related to the Fantastic Four. Initially, I thought it was a Fantastic car for the 6-inch scale. That would merit a HasLab definitely a HasLab release because it's going to be a huge vehicle, fantastic car. Not the crappy 70s 60s version, probably the 90s version, which is huge with the weapons, bells and whistles, lights and sound and all that. But a lot of people are speculating it could be Galactus, probably bigger than that Sentinel. I mean, that Sentinel is already huge, and if they're going to do a bigger figure, I think Galactus is a good choice. I wouldn't be surprised if we did get Galactus. And it's beyond my budget. I don't even have budget for the Sentinel. I mean, I discussed it in brief with my wife, and she did not want to hear any of it. So that's out of the table. And a bigger figure like Galactus is probably out of the table for me. Again, only chance I'm getting it is probably on clearance, or a fellow collector is letting it go cheap. That's probably the only way. But I'm happy for fans who've been waiting for a 1/12 scale Galactus to fit the other Marvel figures they have in Marvel Legends line. I think it's going to be great. And finally, we have Sabretooth from Age of Apocalypse, probably the best looking one, biggest version of Sabretooth. I'm not the biggest Sabretooth fan, so I could really care less about this figure. So there you go, folks. I hope you enjoyed my little video and discussion on what I thought the latest reveals from the Marvel Legends line from Hasbro Pulse's Fan Fest. Let me know in the comment section what you think of these reveals. Are you as excited as I am, or you think that it's a little bit underwhelming? Were you expecting other reveals? Maybe a lot of the characters you wanted but didn't materialize? Let me know in the comment section, and as always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. If it's your first time here, please subscribe. If you want to help the channel out, please check out my Patreon account. There's a link in the description box below. Thanks for watching.